Yoway, galanggonin, wanya ninyan mani, ah, maradan jagan, turubul jagan, garinin nami jojo mo birono, gayan man murangai jagun gun ganyongo, bidiana naju, banyi jimi, jakan barano juno, jundul goji. Tanggalangaru, di wamananjagai, may baranando gai banyi dingami, galanggonin. Yoway. Hello. Back to English now, you fellas. But I have to use that language. It's part of my background and heritage. Uh, Part of my connection to the country. The country really gave us that language that I was saying to you. That is Gubby Gubby or Kabi Kabi language. My family, Mariden, which is part of this sort of landscape. Mariden Plains coming down to Turrbal country. Turrbal is the name of the clan group around these parts here. People maybe not aware that what Turrbal means. Some people call them the Terribles. No, gammon. If you've been to any of those meetings, no, gammon. Anyway, Tor is the word for your ceremonial ring. Tor. There's one down at Bestman's Road, not far from here, and there's one that pathway connects up to the smaller kippa. It's what we call the smaller ring, and that is very sort of a sacred sort of site. But everybody in this area will use the word Tor when they talk about that ceremonial grounds. So when you say Torbal, that's simply meaning the people who use the word Tor when they say ceremonial grounds. That's it. And their clan groups, they have connections to the Yagara people and also connections to our people, Kabi Kabi, on the other side of the, this side of the Brisbane River. But Mariden, that's where our great-great-grandmother was born and raised. And she was seen at Yandina, and I live at Yandina. What? You wouldn't read about these things. And she planted a heap of bunyas at Yandina that I've harvested for as long as I can remember living in Yandina. I didn't even realise until I was talking to the Lowe family. They said, oh yeah, an old Aboriginal lady named Susan planted them with our great-grandmother Agnes. I said, what? Susan? I said, where does she live? Oh, she lived with this fellow called Martin. I said, oh my God. That's my great-great-grandmother. Oh, Mrs. Blythe, she was quite surprised. She said, what? We've written about your great-great-grandmother taking the carpet snake out of the fern house when all the men were at work. All the ladies ran out of the fern house. Oh, yeah, this is her, And then who goes in there? My great-great-grandmother. 5 minutes later, she's out there skinning a snake, skinning this big carpet snake, cooking it on a fire and offering it to the people to eat. Yeah. And another story there too. They reckon them low boys used to throw firecrackers underneath their dress. Yeah. And to prank her. And she'd grab a stick or something. She'd be running around trying to flog them boys. And all the Low family, yeah, get them, flog them, Susan. Yeah. So, there's a lot of history from our side of the family when I was growing up with my grandmother. And that's her grandmother, Susan. And Nan, she was born in Budrum in 1923, but she's no longer with us. But, I was very lucky. Man, I was lucky to grow up with those people. They taught me so much about landscape, country, connection, responsibilities, But, they told it, I've got this black skin, I'd be like, why am I so black? That people call me Aborigine, at school, And I said, because you're Aboriginal, you're from here. Your great-great-grandmother named Susan, she was born in Malula. So when we'd go and talk to people, we'd say, we're Malula people. We wouldn't actually say we're Kabi Kabi. We say we're Malula. But we know that Malula is part of the Kabi Kabi nation. Because what affiliates us is the word Kabi. And some people say Gubby. Some people say Cubby, depending who you grew up with. But what does that word mean? No. Gubby means no. So what you calling yourselves the no-nos? No. No, Gubby doesn't mean no. It actually means the people who use Gubby for no. That's it. Just like Turrbal. The people use tor for ceremonial grounds. So, as I said, very happy to be here at the Abbey Museum again to talk about some of my public artworks that are on display here. I'm very, as I said, proud and privileged to be a part of anything that's going on in our community. And yeah, it's great to be a part of it, and hopefully it'll open the doorway up for other artists as well. If they see this, what Aboriginal followed? Oh well, I'm going to do something here too. You know what I mean? Next generation might inspire them. I definitely got inspired by a lot of artists throughout my life, and so I feel sort of very privileged to do some public arts. I don't do much public arts, use fellas. I've got another one at Bly there on the Maroochy River that I done down there a couple of years ago. That was another huge privilege to be a part of that, and I'm very proud. But what these sort of are depicting is something that I suppose gets overlooked in Aboriginal culture. We know about, when you talk about Aboriginal, didgeridoo, spears, boomerangs, but they don't really talk about the shields. We had shields made out of, four plant materials from around here. We're using fig tree. We're using batwing coral tree. We're also using mangrove, which is, that's a later date. No, another shield, you never know. And also we use the gimpy. And the gimpy, you know what the gimpy? The giant stinging tree. Who's going to make a shield out of that? Man, you can't even touch the leaves after they've fallen 5 years after they've fallen off the tree. You touch the leaf, you're still going to get stung. The only remedy for the gimpy usually grows at the base of the tree. Who's been out to the Bunya Mountains? If you go to the Bunya Mountains, you go down the track, the gimpys, those gimpys are, they're wide, they're round like that, 15 meters round, 20 meters round. Oh, they're round looking. You can't even see the top of them. The biggest leaves, and they're all on the ground. But at the base of them is the remedy if you ever get stung. We were out there, the Bunya Mountains. We were performing out there. And it was 2019, I remember it. Got invited by my nephew to be a part of the big Bunya gathering. And so we thought, this is unreal. So we went out and did this dance there, all the elders, it was unreal. But then one of the nephews said, Uncle, I want to take you for a walk because I'm a ranger out here and I want to show you, I know my bush tucker. I said, come on, let's go. Let's go, Neff. And so we went cruising down and he's talking. I said, let him go. He's telling me this is good, And then he really went into ranger mode then. You should have seen him. He said, wait there, I can hear something. We went, what are you listening to there, nephew? He goes, shh. He could hear someone crying. And it was down the pathway. And so he just went like that, and like a lone ranger. And then he just went straight into action, walking down the path, and there was this little German girl, and she'd been stung on the hand by something. He walked up to her like that, and he said, I'm a ranger. The parents are German, they couldn't speak English much. And then he's looking at her hand, and she's crying, she's in pain. And then he's looking at it, and then he's sort of going, did you touch that? And that leaf? And she goes, yes, I touched the leaf. Oh, it's all right to stay here. And he went sliding down the hill like Action Man. And then he gets the conjure boy and he comes crawling back up and he puts it straight on her hand, and immediately the pain left her. And she was quite surprised. She was looking at her hand, looking at him, looking at her mum, looking at her hand. Who is this fella? He came out of the bush and saved me. Yeah, so it'd definitely be a story from Germany. That's a good one from the Bunya Mountains, but it's all about our shields. And so the Abbey Museum gave us an opportunity, said, put some artwork. What could you put there? What could you, put in there to complement the place? give a connection to Aboriginality, our sort of connection and opportunity for Aboriginal artists to come and put their artwork to be involved with the Abbey Museum. I said, I've got a perfect idea. And the shields, see the shields, is matches the archways, matches the arched windows, the arched doorways, the LED lighting, matching the LED light. You know, so I thought, oh, it's a perfect opportunity to display and talk about our shields, you know, our shield patterns. But yeah, the batwing coral tree, just to tell you, is connected to the mud crab season. And this tree over here, the fig tree, was a tree that was given to me I have to look after. Auntie Eve, who lived down the road at Burpengary, one of the elders of Gub Gub people, she said, I'm going to do a naming ceremony. I said, what's going on? I don't know, kids, get over here. Listen to Auntie. Turn around. So we had to turn around. She had to stand back there. And she said, when I call your name, you have to step backwards. And so my 3 kids lined up and me, and she would call our names and we all stepped back, you know, it took about 20 minutes or so, and we got back to her, and then she said, turn around. So we turned around and said, your name is Dupai, the fig tree. And that's me. And then she said to my older son, you are Witta, the wild dog. And then my daughter, you are Gilla, the native bee. And then the youngest fella, Jamali, he said, you are Dingare, the willy wagtail. And so, you know, my son, every time he sees a willy wagtail, that's me, Dad. And he's like the willy, he go like that, yeah, Dad, that's me. That's me. Look, that's me. Yeah. And every time I see a willy wagtail, I say, I hope that boy's in school. Yeah. But, you know, and so we always we take that on from our elders. And, you know, all of these trees are heirlooms, all of them. Plants, animals, they're all heirlooms. And we know that people looked after them before us. And so those elders go, right, now you're the next one. Here you go. Here's your tree to look after. Here's your animal. Here's your place. And so, you know, that we never forget that sort of custodianship. And so, and we pass that on to everybody that lives here today. We feel that, you know, them elders would be wanting the animals, the plants, would be wanting everybody to know them. And if you can get to know them, know everything about them, names, background and history, personality, all that sort of thing, well then, you know, you become more connected to it and you'll be more likely to, you know, stand up for it and speak on its behalf, you know. I know, because there's fellas that have batwing coral trees in the middle of their driveway and they go, I don't hate that tree, I don't like that tree, but this fella loves eating mud crabs. And he doesn't even know that that tree is related to the mud crab season. When it flowers, that's when the mud crabs are in season. He wants to get rid of it because it's all spiking, it's blocking his driveway, and the branches and the leaves. Oh, you know what I mean? But I'm telling you, if he would have known before, he might be thinking, now leave that one there. That's my mud crab tree is, fellas, you know. But, you know, as you look around, you see so many other trees there that have that same connection. You know, I was at Udlo the other day at the Chen Resnick, you know, temple up there. We're doing the big love festival, but we're in Udlo. We're in the middle of we're going through Udlo. And I said, Udlo, you fellas, is the silky oak, you know. So I try and pass on a lot of that knowledge to all the people that live here today to strengthen them and to strengthen the landscape at the same time. As part of, and you know, and that's the reasoning really behind a lot of the artwork, anything that we do out there, Aboriginal people, it's for us to sort of show you our strong connection with it, and so it becomes contagious. And, you know, we all come from the same maker, you know. A lot of people are, oh, we're all different. No, that fella up there made us all, you know what I mean? And so we sort of all really one, but separate, but, you know, in the end, we're all connected. So as part of the little welcome to country gesture here, I'm going to play a little bit of Good Didgeridoo. This tree, is that it there? No, that's not it there. I think it's over there. Oh, this fella there. It looks like him there. Is that bloodwood tree or is that's bloodwood there? It looks like an ironbark. I was looking at it before studying and going, that ironbark? No, bloodwood. The bloodwood, this is bloodwood didgeridoo, and that bloodwood tree's name is Boona, which is the name of a town as you go up towards Ipswich. And what's in Boona? A whole heap of bloodwood trees right next to the ropes course. I was there. Yeah, I was a youth worker. I had to take all these, riffraff. No, no. I took them out bush. We went to Cunnamulla for like 3 or 4 days, and they were scared too. Oh yeah, I had them like wanting to cling to me. Oh, help me there. Yeah, but no, it's good. I love being that role model, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to be a part of the Abbey Museum's complex with the public arts on display here. So here's a bit of good didgeridoo. As you know, you all know. Hey, you all know I don't know how to play it proper. I've told you this, eh? Yeah, it's just going to be good didgeridoo. Don't get it twisted. I've never been able to play proper didge because you've got to speak the language where it comes from. And this comes from Western Yalanji. It's not my language. That's right up North Queensland. And the other language that's compatible is the Yirrkala Northeast Arnhem Land language. They're the Yolngu people, and they're the didge masters. So respect to those peoples. No way. It's very rock and roll, eh? But once again, Galangunin. Galangunin, that means good you or thank you in our language. Go away.